the history behind the ghost in the auditorium, formerly named Cosette, during the play or the musical Les Mis, a few of the students and the stage crew and teachers started noticing some strange activity in the auditorium, paranormal, if you will. And so more and more things started to happen, so they decided to name the ghost, as I said, Cosette, which is a character in Les Mis. And that is the history behind Cosette.
Rehearsals and stuff for the musical. Things are up. And that's when this little urban legend came up about Cosette, the ghost in the auditorium. Well, I was over there for some reason one night, and there's a candle, those battery-powered candles where you twist the bulb on and then the light comes on. Well, it was just sitting there off, okay, and I was walking across the stage for some reason, and all of a sudden it came on. It just came on, just like that. Well, that's weird. So I went over there, and the bulb wasn't screwed in tight at all. It was just loose. Just take it out. Okay. But as I was walking by, it came on. So that's my story. About the ghost of the auditorium.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. So you really do truly believe in it?
A common thought about Cosette is that she's like evil or scary. People get scared. But she's actually very nice. She helped me one time. Here's the story. I was here with a very few amount of people, and they were all up in the booth area. And Chad had told me to go down to the dressing room closets and put some clothes into the dressing rooms. So I did. I went down there, and there was a pile of clothes, just like he said, but the door was locked into the dressing room, so I couldn't go get them. So I came back up here to get the keys, went down back there, and they were gone. All gone. So I opened the door.
The clothes were gone?
And the door wouldn't open. It was like shut, and I pushed, it was stuck. So I push it, and and the door opens in, and the clothes were directly on the other side of the door. And you can't put clothes on the other side of a closing door, closing inward, without phasing through walls. So, Cosette, be nice. She's nice.
Are you ready?
Yeah, will you just tell us the story?
I will. I have two stories.
Okay, just one at a time, and we'll stop in between.
Okay, first story. Do I look at you or do I look at you?
I'll
look at you. I'll tell you.
Just all of us.
So the very first encounter I had with her was I heard her. And it was during Les Mis. That's how she got her name,
right.
Cosette. And I was standing on the extension of the stage, because we have an extension that goes out over the seats, with Emily Craighead and Mark Harnois and Chad Call. And we were standing there talking, and everybody had gone home, and a few stage crew members were doing work back in the back, mopping and whatever. And up in the corner booth where the spotlight is, we heard a little girl laugh. There were 4 of us that heard it. And we all turned around, and we looked at each other, and I thought Emily had laughed. I thought Emily was being a dork or whatever. And I turned around, and she looked at me, and we looked at each other, and I was like, did you guys hear that? And they all said, yes, we heard that. So I heard her laugh. That was my first encounter with Cosette.
I make my eyes water when I hear stories like this.
I know, it's so cool. So my second encounter with Cosette, I don't remember what show it was. It was just really a couple years ago, I think. And I got to the auditorium early morning rehearsal, and I opened the door, and I walked in. It was probably 5 or 6 years ago. And I walked in the auditorium, and you used to be able to turn the lights on by pushing the button that's right there by the doors. So I pushed the lights on, and I was walking down towards the bottom half of the audience, and I said out loud, "Good morning, Cosette," and the lights turned off. I'm not lying! Woo!
The lights turned off?
Off.
Holy crap!
And I turned around and ran back to the foyer and waited for people to get there because I didn't want to go in and get it myself.
Yeah.
So, at the very beginning of the year when Advanced Theater was doing Hamlet, stage crew liked to scare the advanced class by talking about Cosette. And I'd kind of heard about Cosette a little bit, but I thought that it was just kind of a thing that everyone liked to talk about. So they were telling all these scary stories, and everyone was getting scared. So I was sitting in the audience, facing the stage, and there's that little cove that you can see the stairs before you go onto the, what's that called? Catwalk. And I was looking at it, and I saw someone go up there. I saw hands and feet, hands on the rail like this, and I saw the feet go up. And that wasn't okay. No one was supposed to be up there. So I'm like, guys, I just saw someone go up there. So we all run to the bottom of the stairs, and we're like, come back down. You're not supposed to be up there. And there was no one there. There was absolutely no one. And I swear that I saw it.
Did it have shoes?
Yeah, I saw it was wearing like long black, and then I saw the hands, and then I just saw the feet. I didn't see anything in
Did it
between.
have shoes?
Our experiment is to discover if the urban legend of Cosette is real, if she's really there, or if it's if it can be explained scientifically. And our method is to take Zach's GoPro, which I'm currently being filmed with, and explore the auditorium, maybe conduct a seance or two, and discover if Cosette's really there, or if we can find any logical explanations behind the paranormal activity in the auditorium.
To see on the GoPro.
Okay.
Oh, that's shut. Abnormally hard.
Look at the dark corner. Alright. Hey, look, a ladder. I'm looking for that.
Turn it up today.
He does. I don't believe he goes that. Do that up. Maybe he does. He's getting scared.
GoPro's kind of tape.
Why?
My first experience with Cosette ever was when I was here. I was just with Chad at like 11 at night, closing up, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I'm here. And the moment the door closes, and I hadn't turned on yet, the moment the door closes, I hear.
GoPro's kind of tape.
Why?
GoPro's kind of tape.
Why?
GoPro's kind of tape.
Why?
Yeah, no, that's okay. GoPro's kind of tape.
Why?
Getting scared.
Like a ghost kind of tape.
Why? My first experience with Cosette ever was when I was.
Some would say that we demonstrated belief perseverance because we were willing to believe that there was a ghost, even if we were provided evidence that contradicts that belief, as well as there could be a confirmation bias in the shadow. We could have been looking for anything that would confirm what we were expecting to see. Or enforce it. I for sure demonstrated a little bit of hindsight bias when I showed my friends this video and said, "See, I told you there was a ghost in the auditorium." Could have also been a type of placebo. Someone told us to expect to see a ghost, and we did see a ghost. There also could have been an element of group thinking, where after Zach and I saw the footage of the ghost, we told everyone else, "There's a ghost, come check this out," and then we explained it to them before showing them the video, so then when they watched it, they were more likely to see a ghost in it. You want me to go again? Oh, sorry. So, do I believe that there's a ghost in the auditorium? I'm not sure. There's definitely something going on there. There was something in there with us. And we have evidence of that. And I do believe that there are a lot of things that go on that we're unaware of. So yeah.
And I believe that there is a ghost in the auditorium because there are so many isolated claims of people with experiences with something in there that I think it's impossible to basically hoax it. I mean, there's just too many people that I think are pretty genuine with their claims. Before this, my belief perseverance was that ghosts were not real, but now I can see that they are real. I avoided confirmation bias by seeing the ghost or whatever it was and not just being like, "Oh yeah, there's no ghosts." And then my hindsight bias says that I should have been more open to believing that there might have been something in there, not to be so skeptical. But as a group, we participated in groupthink because I think most of us agree that there was something in the auditorium. I did some social loafing because I didn't go in there with the video camera and film stuff because I wasn't free when we all went. But so yeah.
Okay, so Zach and Tate and Blake and Jake, they all thought that this ghost hunting would be a great idea, and I don't know, I didn't really believe in it, but I just kind of went along with it. And so I kind of just followed the group, aka groupthink, and just did what they thought that we should do and kind of went along with that. And so for the placebo effect, I wasn't actually there when they went and saw it. I was in class, and so I just got a text saying, "We found the ghost, we saw the ghost," and so I was expecting to see that. So then when they showed me the footage, I totally 100% believed it and got so freaked out. It's a social loafer in this case because I didn't go with them to go find Cosette. I went to class and they just told me about it, so I just kind of went off of what they experienced. And then as far as a case study goes, we didn't look into any other ghosts. Like, we didn't look up information on any other ghost stories or anything like that. We just were focusing on Cosette and trying to see what information we could find from teachers, and then we looked for our own information. And then, so as far as hindsight bias goes, I didn't believe it at first, and then now that I've seen it, I'm just like, oh yeah, there's no way that could be fake at all. And I totally believe in it, which is so bizarre because I don't believe in crap like this, but there's proof on the video, so.
Let's go.
Good evening, my name is Blake Johnson, and 5 illusionary thingies that I'm going to talk about are the placebo, the groupthink, illusionary correlation, belief bias. Yeah. So placebo is kind of like when you're thinking something's gonna happen, so you think it actually happens. So like, maybe if you think that there's gonna be a ghost in the auditorium, you go in there, and then if there was like a little movement or something, you'd think it's a ghost. But in this case, I don't think there's a whole lot of that. Groupthink is when a group of people desire harmony or conformity, and that results in irrational decision making and outcome. I do think that that kind of happened, like people agreed with each other that there was a ghost, but that wasn't the main reason why. Illusionary correlation is perceiving relationships between variables when there is none. So here's an example. So we saw some little light things floating in the air, which at first we were saying were orbs, but I think that was just dust with light, like the light shining on it. So there was an illusionary correlation. Social loafing is what I did. That's when you kind of just sit back and let other people do the stuff, and you get full credit. It's great. Belief bias is to judge the strength. No, that's prior knowledge and beliefs that affect the result. So, let's say if you didn't believe in ghosts, then you would go in there and be like, oh, that's not a ghost. Or if you did believe in ghosts, you'd be like, oh, that's a ghost. So I've come to the conclusion, almost 100%, but if ghosts are real, then yes. There was something in there. It was an object or person or something that moved, and there wasn't anything in there. It was moving, so it was either a ghost or something that our brains can't even comprehend.
Factors that can play into why we may or may not believe that Cosette is real. First thing is placebo. We heard ghost stories before we went in there. We talked to lots of people, so our brains could have tricked ourselves into thinking that there was a ghost in there, and that even the tiniest shadow was a ghost. This is a situation.
In the critical thinking, mentioned Clyde's the black dress and stuff.
This is a situation of a case study. So we we took one ghost to study. So to prove that there are ghosts or that ghosts exist, we would need to go and study different ghosts in different places. This could also be an illusory correlation in that we heard that the most encounters with Cosette were in the boys' dressing room, so that when we actually went to the boys' dressing room, we most expected there to actually be a ghost in there. We expected there to be a correlation between the boys' dressing room and the presence of Cosette. Self-serving bias can also come into play in that we wanted to believe there was a ghost. We really wanted to catch Cosette, and so even the tiniest shadows, the smallest things we could find in the video played to our self-serving bias, and that we confirmed the idea that there was a ghost in the auditorium. And then finally, groupthink. With so many people seeing the footage and believing what they saw in the footage, it only confirms the belief that we have as a group. And so, in the end, I say yes, there is a ghost in the auditorium. Cosette is real. The footage was very distinct, very it's almost really interesting to see that Cosette, or at least what we saw in the footage, she was wearing all black and may have been in a black dress. And Clyde, who we had interviewed earlier, before she had even seen the video, said that her first encounter with Cosette, she saw her wearing all black. So I think it's not just a coincidence between those two. and also the fact that the ghost that we happened to see in the boys' dressing room was a female, had a female shape, so that it wasn't just any ghost. It was in fact Cosette, the auditorium ghost.